Now, common sense and home loans. The present financial home loan crisis was all predictable simply by using common sense. Appraisers and lenders and borrowers all were in a conspiracy when income and asset figures were changed. And many people were told, oh, you only earned $18,000 last year? Put it down as $28,000 or $38,000. This was told to them by the lender, the man they were sitting and facing. The appraiser had been told to value the house higher also. If they were buying a $200,000 house, many appraisers were valuing them at $300,000. So when the borrower sat there and these things were going on in front of him, and he was complicit in what was going on, he had to know eventually somebody's going to repossess that house because you can't afford the terms. But with this mortgage company, Countrywide Mortgage, stockholders were out of the loop. So they believed the CEO, Angelo Mozillo, when he was putting out these wonderful reports. Oh, we're making all this great money. We're profitable. And so they kept pouring money into it. And he was borrowing money from the big banks. They were financing a lot of it. But the CEO, if he didn't know what was going on down below, if he didn't know what was going on at his various offices, then he was too stupid to be a CEO. That's the way I see it. Now, the credit cartel and the banking industry. The industry itself is unconscionable. The industry is predatory. The industry is based upon deceitful contracts, which I pointed out to you. The industry is destructive to America's financial health and well-being. Why? Because millions of people have signed those unconscionable contracts. Millions of businessmen have tied in with those unconscionable contracts. And banks all over the country are all intertwined with the top of the head of these banking organizations. Bank of America, the big banks, all the little banks are tied into them. So they're all participating in a fraud. Now, when does this fraud get exposed to the point where it collapses? Like Countrywide Mortgage. That's what we have to watch out for. And that's why I say the dangers come from within. Now, homeowners borrowed $211 billion against their home equity in 2002. And then they used most of the money to pay down credit card debt. Maybe they took a vacation while they were at it. But that's what put them in the position they're in, where homes are being repossessed and people are being kicked out. So this is part of the cycle of debt. This is this is due to America's predatory banking industry and to the lies and deceitfulness that industry thrives on. Now, do we need new laws? Or can we depend upon self-responsibility? Obviously, we can't depend upon self-responsibility. And many people will call these debtors deadbeats, or they'll have various names for them. But I'll tell you, when a kid sees a circus, he wants to have an ice cream cone, he wants to have candy and everything else. His eyes are gleaming, and that's what the banking industry does to America. They entice us. Well, stupid is as stupid does. Yes, if I can call him stupid, and I certainly will, stupid walks away with $137 million. And then Bank of America, a credit card company, buys Countrywide Mortgage on the cheap for $4 billion. That was worth what? $25 billion? It loses 80% of its value. And then Bank of America steps in and buys it. The credit card company, one of the credit card companies that helped people get in the position where they needed these loans, now benefits by buying the company. And the stockholders get what? The royal shaft. Now, was Mozilla the CEO? Was he stupid or a crook? We got to ask that question. As a CEO, he was stupid because he built the company on people with poor credit. They were grabbing a life ring that he offered. Countrywide Mortgage was a house of cards for years before it collapsed. You don't make loans to people who are in great difficulty without expecting that one day a lot of these people are going to renege on those loans. But stupid didn't care. It wasn't his money he lost. And how much did he walk away with? $137 million. And some of it could have been yours or your mother's or your father's, invested in Countrywide Mortgage. So, let's talk about complicity in a fraud. You, my friends, if you're playing the air mile points game, you're complicit, aiding and abetting the Visa, MasterCard banks with their unscrupulous activities. That's another part of the fraud. Now, Countrywide has a new CEO, Kenneth D. Lewis. And what is he going to do? Enhance the collection abilities of Countrywide, which means he's going to get tough on the borrowers, making them pay through the nose, hounding them, putting them through the ringer. We're going to get our money back, right? The new man is in place. And Countrywide Financial CEO Mozilla, he was the problem. Why? Because he didn't run a tight ship. He ran a loose ship, the sails flapping. So, think about it. That was only part of the losses of the industry. But think about it. $20 billion of the value of a large corporation, supposedly a solid corporation, didn't have any underpinning. $20 billion down the tube, and there went the investors' money. Now let's go back a little. $540 billion in equity was cashed. How was that cashed? In the years 2003 and 2004. More than $540 billion in home equity was cashed in by homeowners. How did they do it? They went to Countrywide and borrowed money. And a good deal of that was due to the Countrywide TV ads that said, hey, you got credit card bills? Come see us and we'll loan you the money to pay them. Now, that was beneficial to Bank of America, which eventually bought out Countrywide, because now people borrowed against their homes. They paid off Bank of America, Visa and MasterCard, as well as other credit cards, and then they went right back in debt again.